Hello and welcome to this episode of Get Good at Business Business Highlights. Today I am joined with Melissa Price and we are so excited to dive in and chat with her. But first, let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Taylor Proctor and I am your Get Good at Business coach, helping businesses all over the world get good at business through the I Move method. And the I Move method stands for intuition, marketing, operations, velocity, and execution, which we'll be discussing today with Melissa as she shares about her business and how she utilizes I Move within it. So a little bit about Melissa is she is the kid whisperer. She has two wonderful adult children and two adorable grandsons. She loves traveling and believes that lunching and deep dish talking with people is the most amazing thing ever. It is her favorite. She loves movies and reading, and her claim to fame is that she can sing the alphabet backwards. She was an extra in a movie called Saturday's Warrior, and rolls her eyes just like she does at to the youth that she teaches about that movie. She also was the witch in the Into the Woods as the only adult in a children's production, for which she won a trophy, and she wins all sorts of stuff all the time. So super excited to dive into learning a little bit more about you, Melissa, and specifically your business. So business description here is you have a passion for supporting kids and their parents in being their best, shiniest gift to the world. You do this through playful education around emotional resilience, truly loving and forgiving ourselves, and supporting with powerful tools that change lives. She also created the Emotion Commotion card game, which I have personally played, love it. And that has been used in schools, counseling centers, in prisons, and at corporate retreats, and has received widespread praise for its effectiveness in helping individuals build emotional resilience. She's an Ascend EQ guide, and being a grandma is the most joyful experience and for her, and being a teacher as well. And she loves sharing the lessons learned from her grandsons. So Melissa, so excited to talk about Emotion Commotion and dive in and learn all about you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Taylor.
So let's talk a little bit about that personal background, right? Teacher working with kids and things all the time. How did that lead you to the inspiration for your business and becoming the kid whisperer and creating the Emotion Commotion card game?
Well, I have always loved kids, had a soft place in my heart for them. I homeschooled many other kids besides my own. And I would learn from them as they would talk to me that they would have challenges with addiction, which I'm very familiar with in my family as well. And so I just had this heart that wanted to help them. But part of that is just wanting to heal myself over the years from the childhood that I experienced. So I have done a lot of studying, watched a lot of Oprah back in the day, and learned all about emotions and why we have them and how to utilize them for growth. And so I was talking to a friend about this who runs a mom's group, and she invited me to come speak to parents of very young kids about helping their young kids manage their emotions.
Mm.
To wrap my brain around this, I was doing some studying and the idea for this game came. And I started, I finished it in 3 hours. And I printed it out on my computer and I started taking it around the neighborhood to my friends and realized it was legit. So I started a business because I had this game that was awesome at helping people and I needed a way to get it out to the world.
I love that. And I love that you said you were working on it and then it just came, right? And that in its own way can be intuition. So how do you use intuition that helped jumpstart the business? How do you use intuition to help continue to shape the vision for your business?
Business is fantastic at showing you not only your gifts, but where your blocks are.
Very true.
One of the things that I ran into for quite a while was I have all of these friends who have started or running businesses, and I take notes and I want to learn all the things, and then I'm trying what works for everybody else. And it doesn't always work for me. So it took me a good year or two to really come to the realization I'm unique. I need to follow my inspiration instead of everybody else's just because it looks good and it works for them. Um, and so I have slowed down and feeling like this pressure to keep up with everybody else that I've put in my own head, right?
Right.
Um, so I do love to know myself and know others. And one of the things that I know about me is that waiting for invitations and waiting for the right invitations is an important way that I move forward. A lot of times I want to uh, force things, and I don't think of it as force, but I want to just make things happen like so many people that I watch do. And it's just not my, it's not the way I work optimally.
Yeah.
So giving myself more rest after I've done peopling, you know, and just being able to really do a lot of self-care so that I can be in the spot where I can receive those invitations and respond to them well is a big part of it.
I love that. And I love that you called out specifically why intuition is the first part of the I move method, right? It's because for so many business owners, we find ourselves in this place where it's like, I took all the action, right? I built the company and the operations like I was supposed to. And I did the marketing exactly how somebody said to do it. And it fell flat on its face. And it's because it wasn't aligned and congruent to you and your intuition first. And so like you are the living embodiment of why intuition is the I in I move, because we have to have that first, and really knowing and understanding your templates and your design of how you interact with the world is a key part of following your intuition to set your business up for success. So I love that. And I really appreciate you sharing that with our watchers and listeners, because I think that's such a crucial thing to really account for as a business owner.
Definitely is.
I love that. So let's move to the next piece of iMove, which is marketing. So, what strategies, especially because it's a card game, right? The Emotion Commotion game, what strategies have you found to be most effective for spreading the word about Emotion Commotion?
From the beginning, it was me sharing about this game that I love. And that has really been the most effective way to share my game. Um, Putting it online and doing things like that has kind of cut off me.
Mm,
For some reason, I don't know if it's because I love it. I love emotional intelligence. I love the connection, but I can talk to somebody for 2 or 3 minutes about my game and it's sold like that. Whereas the online marketing things that I have tried have not been as successful as that. And so getting out in front of people and sharing what I know about emotional intelligence, how easy it can be to learn through play, and geeking out about what I geek out about is what attracts my ideal client to me and gets them excited. And it's a challenge because there's only so much of me to go around. So
yeah, love that. And I think that that's an important piece, especially in the online world, where as business owners, when you have a physical product, right? Sometimes it's easy to sell online, and other times it's really how do we get this out in front of the world? And it's like connections and word of mouth and those next level pieces, which feel like they go against the grain of traditional marketing, online marketing. But truth is that it is a traditional marketing tactic that works without fail.
yes, and I've had the opportunity to package the game as just a game you could buy off the shelf and kind of recreate some elements of it. But I chose not to do that because I love the learning aspect. I love helping parents know how to facilitate learning with their kids, maybe because I'm from the homeschooling world, but it's so important to me that we know what our emotions are for and how to use them and give the parents the knowledge to start those discussions that are really going to connect them to their kids.
I love that. Now, we move to the O, and O is operations. But I want to shift this a little bit and ask about how you spend your days operating as a business owner and building that emotional resilience. Because operations, we tend to think of it a lot as like, okay, I've got to have my standard operating procedures and all these things in place. And I'm sure you have those. But also, operational procedures are how we focus on our business, how we get through things. And business ownership, like you said, can show a lot to us. And with emotional resilience and emotional EQ being your main thing, how do you set yourself up for that resilience emotionally through your operations and day to day?
That is a great question. I have a lot of emotional tools that I use on the daily basis. And so I do try to feed myself and take care of myself, like in the mornings, in the evenings. I'm getting better at that. But I also just use my emotional tools, whether that it's expressing my emotions through art. A lot of times it could be like scribbling my emotions out. Having and connecting with other beings who are doing the same thing as I am is very, very helpful, because collaboration is just huge in my world. And so working through things with other people and doing things alongside other people that either I don't know a lot about, or that are bringing up blocks in me is really helpful. I love to, I don't know if trade my services would be the right word, but I love helping like my fellow business owners through business breakthroughs, or belief breakthroughs.
Mhm.
I'm grateful because I have so many people that do the same thing for me. And we have, our blind spots that our businesses can bring us to. And so it's great to have help identify identifying those and working on them. So lots
Yeah.
of tears here and there, and lots of dancing and music. Like I use music to like help strengthen me for whatever it is, or help me express my emotions. And yeah, just a lot of work personally.
Absolutely. So, I'm gonna take a quick break there for a second because you said, you have these several emotional tools, and that is actually one of the free resources that you have for our listeners is your emotional tools. I believe it's like a checklist. What is it? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Actually, it's three ways that we can build ourselves up and express our emotions in kind of artistic ways. I think of emotional tools in the categories of gardeners' intelligences. That's just the way I think of things. And so I think of what can help the people who are really natural. That's like their strength, or how they tune in, right? And what can help people who are really artistic and musical, auditory. And so the three tools that I have in my free resource are of the artistic variety, and they are building up good emotions, and they're helping us meditatively like process emotions. And they're just fun, and they're great for all ages. So I've used it with kids in elementary and junior high, and I use them personally, and I love it. And if I have an artistic, cute thing to show at the end, that's fun too.
Awesome. So cool. Well, that is in the description. So, anyone watching, you can download that free resource and start with the emotional toolkit that Melissa has provided for us. But, Melissa, let's talk about providing that velocity to your business, right? Fast-paced world of emotional education, right? People are becoming more and more aware of their emotions the further along we go. So, what strategies have you employed to maintain and accelerate the impact of what you offer, and specifically the Emotion Commotion card game?
One of the things that I chose last year to accelerate was my being seen. And
Mm.
two different speaking coaches, and I tried to speak in a lot of different places. Being seen is one of those, like, hidden blocks that I have for different reasons. And so it's been really helpful to work with a group of friends and collaborate and to be comfortable with being online, being comfortable speaking to people, is really key, I think, to being seen and invited to the things that are going to accelerate. I, for an example, a couple weeks ago, I saw somebody calling for podcast guests, and she had 200 and something answers. And I was like, well, I'll just throw my hat in the ring. And I did. And after meeting her and talking to her for 15 minutes, he was all like, you need to meet this person. You need to meet this person. The connections that she's giving me are amazing. And that is really when I'm in alignment, everything's in alignment. That's what happens to me. And I love that. I love those connections. And so being seen, being comfortable is something that I hope to do a lot more of now that I feel like I have a really good foundation there.
Yeah. And being seen, being comfortable, and being in alignment, right? Like that's your triple threat there. Like get those three in and everything takes off and that velocity comes into play. So cool. So what big initiative are you currently focusing on for your business?
One thing that I am working on is creating a 6-month program that will support the moms,
Mm.
very stable with their emotional intelligence. I want to help them just really shine bright so that their kids will be able to come to them when they're struggling, because we are watching the world implode and explode like on the daily, and it's affecting our kids and it's happening to our kids, and they are amazing, beautiful kids, right? But when they're falling off into addictions because they don't know what to do with their emotions, and we're stressed out trying to take care of a family and all the things, like that connection, that bond is so important. And so I'm building up the women for 6 months and then having a retreat with one of their kids so that we can really create some amazing creative bonds with them. So I'm working on that, and I'm working on getting my game out to schools and therapists. So that's my
Awesome. That's some big stuff, and it sounds all amazing and super aligned. That's so exciting. Just one more time, share with us a little bit about that free resource, those emotional tools, and then we'll wrap up this incredible business highlight.
fantastic. So the 3 emotional tools you can find on my website in the little green banner at top. And they are to build up the positive emotions and to create this vision of who we want to see. They give us a very, another one gives us a very meditative, calming, artistic way to express our emotions and to work things out, let our brain work it out while we're just chillaxing.
Mhm.
And then another one is just my experience with scribbling. Scribbling saved my Christmas a couple years ago. So it's powerful. Just how to use that tool and help your kids do it too.
Awesome. So check out her free resource. It is in the description. And Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today and being so open about your business, your Emotion Commotion cards, why you started, and everything in between. For anybody else watching us right now, thank you so much for tuning in. We will have more Get Good at Business highlights coming in the future, so stay tuned. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you around.